Hey everyone, before we dive into this story, don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more content like this. Why don't you get a proper job like everyone else? Brenda proclaimed loudly at the country club brunch, gesturing with her mimosa for dramatic effect, while my dad stared at his eggs Benedict as if it held life's greatest mysteries. This consulting thing, what is that even? Waltzing into businesses and giving them orders? Please. The question that made me pause mid-sip of my coffee wasn't whether to tell her I just finalized the purchase of her company, but whether she'd dare mock me when I stepped into her office as the new owner in 2 days. I enjoy consulting, I replied calmly, spreading jam on my toast. It's adaptable. Adaptable is just a fancy word for jobless, Brenda shot back, reapplying her lipstick between jabs. David, talk to your daughter about real careers, stable ones, like mine in pharmaceutical sales. Dad squirmed in his seat. We'd been through this dance for 6 months, ever since he married Brenda after a whirlwind romance that sparked at his retirement party and culminated in a Vegas wedding. She was 15 years his junior, driven, and obsessed with the family's public image. Samantha's doing fine, Dad mumbled weakly. Is she, though? Brenda peered at me over her designer sunglasses. That Honda in the lot, yours? It's got to be a decade old. And consulting? What does that even mean? Do you have benefits? A retirement plan? A future? I get by, I said. Getting by isn't succeeding, honey, she replied. I get it. Not everyone's cut out for corporate life. The pressure, the competition, the real stakes. But maybe start small, entry level. I could pull some strings at MedTech Corporation. We're always hiring administrative assistants. That's generous, I said. Someone's got to watch out for you, she continued. Your dad's clearly been too lenient, letting you coast through your 30s with no clear path. I'm 28, I corrected. That's even worse. These are your peak earning years. While you're consulting, I'm making 6 figures plus bonuses. Last quarter alone, I sold $3.2 million in products. That's real impact on society. Selling opioids is quite the impact, I agreed. Her cheeks reddened. Pharmaceutical solutions for legitimate pain relief, she snapped. It's honest work. Transparent. Not like strolling into companies doing what exactly? Different tasks for different clients, I said. That's not an answer. That's what people say when they're ashamed of their job, or lack of one. Dad finally chimed in. Brenda, maybe we can discuss something else. No, David. Someone needs to have this talk with her. At my age, I was already a regional sales manager. I had a team, a company car, stock options. What does Samantha have? Business cards that say consultant? I don't use business cards, I said. Of course not. Too much commitment, right? Like everything with your generation. The irony was rich. MedTech Corporation, where Brenda had worked for 12 years, was bleeding cash from lawsuits over their aggressive opioid marketing. That's why my private equity firm, Sterling Equity, snapped it up for a fraction of its value. We sealed the deal on Friday. Today was Sunday. Tomorrow, I'd walk into their headquarters as the new owner. You know your issue? Brenda pressed on, gaining steam. No accountability. In pharmaceutical sales, we have quotas, metrics, tangible measures of success. In consulting, you just drift, making it up as you go. There's definitely a creative side, I agreed. Creative, she spat as if it were a slur. Your dad said you studied business at Northwestern. What a waste. That degree could have landed you a real job at a real company if you'd put in the effort. Instead, you took the easy route, consulting. She turned to my dad. We need to stop enabling her, David. No more loans. No more bailing her out when her little gigs flop. I've never asked Dad for money, I said softly. Because you're too proud, she retorted, waving a hand at my simple sundress. And what's this you're wearing? Honestly, Brenda, Dad said more firmly, that's enough. I'm trying to help her, David. Someone has to be honest. In the corporate world, image matters. Success matters. Stability matters. You're absolutely right, I said. Stability is key. So, you'll let me arrange that interview? Entry level, but it's a start. Show up on time, dress professionally, borrow something from me if you must, and act engaged when they explain the filing system. I'll consider it, I said. Don't wait too long. MedTech doesn't hire just anyone, even for admin roles. We have standards. The rest of brunch was Brenda cataloging my shortcomings and trumpeting her triumphs. The time she was named Salesperson of the Month, the Miami conference where she networked with industry giants, the promotion to Regional Vice President she was sure was coming. My managers hinted it's in the works, she boasted. With my numbers, it's a no-brainer. I've been carrying my team all year. Congrats, I said. That's what real careers look like, she said. Clear progress, defined structures, not whatever you do. Drifting from company to company like corporate tumbleweed. As we waited for the valet, Brenda couldn't resist one last jab. That dress, is it from Target? No shade. We all start somewhere. I remember when I could only afford discount stores, but that was before I got serious about success. It's comfortable, I said. Comfort is just laziness dressed up as a choice. Successful people embrace discomfort. That's how we grow. My Honda rolled up first, the valet offering an apologetic smile as he handed me the keys to my decade-old Civic. Brenda's sleek BMW arrived next, gleaming with implied achievement. Think about what I said, she called out. Real job, real future. I'm tough on you because I care. Monday morning brought brilliant sunlight and a flurry of encrypted messages from my team. Transition crew ready, legal documents finalized, IT prepped for system integration, security briefed on potential hiccups. I dressed thoughtfully, not the power suit Brenda might expect from a CEO, but a sleek gray pantsuit that screamed competence without flash. The tailoring was impeccable. The $800 shoes looked like $80, and the watch seemed ordinary until you spotted the Patek Philippe craftsmanship. Medteca's headquarters loomed in the financial district, a glass tower I'd visited during due diligence, always after hours with the acquisition team. This was my first time entering through the main doors during business hours. Name, the security guard asked. Samantha Chun. I have a 9 a.m. with the transition team. He scanned his list, did a double take, then checked again. Miss Chun, the new CEO. Welcome, ma'am. Let me get you a badge and an escort. No escort needed. I know where the conference room is. The executive elevator required a special key, which the guard handed over with trembling fingers. As I ascended to the 20th floor, I thought of Brenda, likely somewhere in the building, prepping for her Monday sales meeting, oblivious to the shift about to hit her world. The conference room was packed, legal team, HR directors, department heads, and outgoing execs gathered around a massive oak table. They rose as I entered, a corporate instinct when power arrived. Good morning, I said, taking the head seat. Let's get started. The next 2 hours were a whirlwind of briefings, transitions, and strategic shifts. I'd handled acquisitions before, but MedTech was unique, not just because of Brenda, but because it embodied everything wrong with pharmaceutical sales. Aggressive tactics, dubious ethics, profits over people. The sales restructuring, my CFO said, passing me a document. We're cutting several regional roles and prioritizing ethical prescribing. Which regions? Southwest primarily. That's where the most questionable practices have been recorded. Brenda's region. At 11 a.m., a company-wide meeting was called in the main auditorium, mandatory attendance. Rumors had swirled since security began updating badges and IT started resetting passwords. Medteca's 3,000 employees filed in, buzzing with unease. I watched from backstage as Brenda entered with her sales team, still confident, still scrolling her phone for client messages that would go unanswered. She picked a seat in the middle, visible, but not overly eager. The outgoing CEO gave a brief speech about exciting changes before introducing me. I stepped onto the stage to polite, puzzled applause. Most employees had no clue who I was. To them, I likely looked like another consultant. Good morning. I'm Samantha Chun, managing partner of Sterling Equity and your new CEO. I know change can be unsettling, but I want to be clear about our path forward. I laid out the vision: ethical practices, sustainable growth, accountability for past errors. Then came the tough part. Effective immediately, we're overhauling our sales division. The era of prioritizing volume over patient well-being is done. Some roles will be eliminated. Others will be retrained. Those who can't adapt to ethical sales have no place here. The auditorium hummed with tension. I could see Brenda from the stage, her expression shifting from confusion to recognition to sheer dread. I'll meet with each department this week, I continued. My door's open. I believe in leading by being present on the sales floor, in the cafeteria, even in the parking garage. Real leadership means understanding every part of this company. Questions came. I answered candidly. Layoffs would be minimal if people adapted. The direction was ethical yet profitable. My background was private equity, specializing in fixing broken companies. Then Brenda stood, hands trembling. Do you have pharmaceutical experience? Her voice echoed. I have experience spotting what's broken and repairing it. In Medteca's case, it's a culture that valued sales over ethics. The lawsuits tell the story, $2.3 billion in potential litigation from aggressive opioid marketing. That ends now. She sat heavily, colleagues subtly inching away, corporate survival kicking in. After the meeting, department heads rushed to brief their teams. I headed to the sales floor, where Brenda's manager intercepted me, panicked. Ms. Chun, about the restructuring. My teams always follow guidelines, haven't they? Records show your region has the highest rates of prescriber kickbacks, dinners, trips, consulting fees that are thinly veiled bribes. That's industry standard. Was. Past tense. Behind him, Brenda was at her desk, frantically gathering files, likely trying to cover tracks I'd already uncovered. I need all regional managers in conference room C in 1 hour, I told him. We'll discuss who stays and who goes. The meeting was intense. I presented evidence, falsified call reports, kickbacks disguised as speaker fees, coercion of doctors to overprescribe. 3 managers were fired immediately. 2 accepted demotions to sales rep roles with retraining. Brenda tried to justify herself. These were approved tactics. Corporate knew. Previous corporate, I said. I'm current corporate and I don't approve. You can't just come in and ruin everything we've built. What you've built is facing federal scrutiny. Did you think the lawsuits would vanish? That patients dying from pills you pushed wouldn't have fallout. I was following orders, and now you're following new ones. You're on administrative leave, pending investigation into your sales practices. Investigation for what? I pulled up her file on the conference room screen. Falsified reports, illegal kickbacks, pressuring doctors to prescribe unnecessarily. Shall I go on? Her face paled. I need this job. My car lease, my condo, the BMW you leased to impress clients, the condo you bought with bonuses from pushing pills? Maybe you should have considered sustainability. Real jobs, as you put it, come with real accountability. You don't get it. I get it perfectly. You built a life on others' suffering. Now it's collapsing. That's not my fault or my problem. Security escorted her out 20 minutes later, cardboard box in hand. The great pharmaceutical sales star, reduced to a walk of shame and a tarnished reputation. That evening, Dad called. Samantha, what happened? Brenda came home crying, saying her company was taken over. Sterling Equity acquired MedTech. I'm restructuring to avoid bankruptcy from the lawsuits. Silence. Then, Sterling Equity, that's your company. One of them. But you said you were a consultant. I am. I consult with companies I acquire to make them profitable and ethical. It's rewarding work. Brenda's on leave. She says you singled her out. I targeted unethical sales practices. She was one of the worst culprits. You could have warned us. When? During brunch. When she was lecturing me about needing a real job. When she offered to give me an entry-level role at the company I'd just bought. This feels harsh, Samantha. No, Dad. Harsh is pushing addictive drugs to meet quotas. Harsh is belittling your stepdaughter for career choices you don't understand. This is accountability. She could lose everything. Then she'll understand what families of opioid victims lost. Perspective is a great teacher. He hung up. I wasn't shocked. Dad always took the easy road. And right now, that meant backing Brenda's victim story. Over the next few months, MedTech changed. We settled major lawsuits, retrained the sales team, and shifted to non-addictive pain management. Revenue dipped at first, but stabilized as hospitals began trusting our ethical stance. Brenda's investigation confirmed what I'd suspected. falsified reports, illegal kickbacks, near criminal pressure tactics. She avoided prosecution by accepting a lifetime ban from pharmaceutical sales and forfeiting her bonuses. Last I heard, she was a receptionist at a medical clinic, entry level, just as she'd suggested for me. The irony wasn't lost on anyone. Dad and I didn't talk for 6 months. When we finally met for coffee, he looked worn. She left me, he said quietly. Said I should have warned her about you. Warned her about what? That I'm successful. That you're formidable. She thought you were a failure. I let her think that because it was easier than explaining. Explaining what? That my daughter built a private equity empire by 28. That the consulting she mocked was turning around companies worth billions. That the old Honda was a choice, not a necessity. Would she have been kinder if she'd known? He gave a bitter laugh. Probably. But that's the point, isn't it? She showed you exactly who she was when she thought you were nothing, and you let her. I did. I'm sorry. Are you? Or are you just sorry she's gone? Both, he admitted. But mostly sorry I didn't stand up for you. Your mom would be ashamed of me. Mom would get it. She always said you avoided conflict. She also said I got her spine. She was right. Dad and I rebuilt slowly. Without Brenda's toxic influence, he remembered how to take pride in his daughter's achievements instead of apologizing for them. He even started boasting to his golf buddies. My daughter? She's in private equity. Buys failing companies and fixes them. Dull stuff, unless you like making millions while improving lives. As for me, I kept the Honda. It runs smoothly, gets great mileage, and reminds me that true success doesn't need to shout. It just walks into boardrooms and changes everything. Sometimes in a simple sundress, sometimes carrying a cardboard box.